Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Captain Kurt here. I'm on the e-bike right now, the FlyPod e-bike, and I got a couple minutes of ride ahead of me before I get to the field. And I got a little field that I'm going to be taking off out of, but on the way there, I want to talk about something I just saw online. And I see this all the time, and it just kills me every time I see it. Every time I turn around, some guy's telling me he got this unit, he got that unit, now he's onto this brand, now he's onto that brand. Well, here's the reason I got rid of the other one. And it's always either a mechanical issue or somebody's endorsing that guy. And the easy way to tell if they're getting free ones is take a look at how many subscribers they got and how many shout outs they give in their videos, and then listen. If they try to tell you that they're not getting endorsed by flying that particular unit, well, then you know they are. But people, if for any reason, they just keep switching brands. If this one wasn't good and if it's lousy, then how come you were just bragging on how amazing it was a few months ago? And then when that company went out of business, you were bragging about how good the other one was. And I've watched these companies and we've watched these YouTube celebrities change units, change brands, change wings, do all this stuff. Why can't they just find something that works good? You know, I went through this whole nonsense, you know, back when the sport exploded almost 30 years ago. I was doing the same thing. I just kept thinking the next one I fly is gonna eliminate all the problems and the issues that I'm having with the current one that I was flying. So I would buy the next brand, and the next brand, and the next brand, and it was always the same thing. There was always issues, there was always things continually happening, and then a lot of times the companies were just going out of business. They were just plain going out of business. Then I had no availability to parts. One company had this great warranty. I owned the thing for like 6 months, and within 6 months my piston melted, like you see in a lot of these other videos. Some of these YouTube celebrities, they're constantly having motor outs, their pistons are melting, their exhaust is falling apart, their redrives are snapping, their crankcases are cracked. They're wondering why they're having all these issues. So then what they do is they switch to another brand with a different looking kind of frame, but the same kind of motor, the same kind of everything, and they think, oh, that's gonna solve the problem. I'll switch to this brand. And some of these guys spend over $70,000 to $80,000, just like I did almost 30 years ago. I spent almost $100,000 buying the next piece of equipment, the next piece of equipment, and there they were all sitting in my living room or in my garage or somewhere like that, just building up. It was a whole pile of used units and a collection of basically junk, a $75,000 to $100,000 pile of junk. And I spent a lot of money doing that, and all of a sudden, something happened. I ran into this company, a German company called Fresh Breeze. And I said, my God, I've heard of these guys, but I've never owned one. I don't flow, I don't know what they're about. And then I was at an event in Toledo, Ohio, and I ran into a dealer selling one. It turned out to be the distributor. And the first thing I noticed was totally different carburetor, totally different exhaust. He told me about better bearings. He told me about the reinforced crankcases. He told me about triple jointed exhaust, prop hub stabilizers, just all sorts of stuff that wasn't on the brands that I was buying. None of the other brands had that. And to this day, you know what? I bought my first Fresh Breeze over 2.5 decades ago, and I'm still flying Fresh Breeze. I haven't had to change brands. I still have a unit that's light years ahead of everybody else. Now, some people use their terminology of that, oh, flying a Fresh Breeze is antiquated. No, the company is antiquated, but not their technology, because these other brands still out there still haven't done what Fresh Breeze has. They haven't got they haven't got it dialed in, man. They don't got the quality there like the Germans build. And so I just don't deal with the problems of melting pistons and the exhaust falling off, my crankcase cracking. I don't have to worry about any of that because I found the right brand. And I've been an advocate for Fresh Breeze ever since then. And Here's the difference between me and anybody else out there that's on YouTube talking about their product. I'm not getting endorsements from Fresh Breeze. In fact, they have one of the worst profit margins for a dealer to be. The crappier the unit, the better that company will be at giving you a bigger profit margin to sell their brand. But the thing I don't have to deal with is people complaining that their stuff is breaking all the time. We've had issues here and there, but nothing major. It's not happening on a regular basis. And Fresh Breeze is a company that really stands behind their product. They take pride in their product, and we just don't have the issues that they have. I haven't had to switch brands. But if something better came about tomorrow, if there was a better brand than Fresh Breeze to sell, I would sell it. I would drop Fresh Breeze tomorrow and start selling that new brand. But there's nothing that comes close to the German Fresh Breeze. There's just nothing that comes close to the quality. When I'm flying, I want dependability. I don't want to fly one day and then have to fix it, and then fly another day and have to fix it. And another thing I want is when that company in 4 or 5 years, like my personal unit, this one on the back here, 8 years old, and it still runs like the day it came out of the box. Starts on the first or second pole. I don't have primer bulbs going bad, fuel pumps, crappy diaphragm carburetor, got a good old float bowl carburetor, got my tank mounted at the top. It starts when I pull it, and it's got 8 years on it, and it's still running good. But the best thing I wanted to say is, people that are switching brands and going to something different, wake up! The problem's been solved. Fresh Breeze is the answer. The German Fresh Breeze is the way to go. And again, if something better comes along tomorrow, I'm gonna start selling it. But they are light years ahead. If you're looking for quality, Fresh Breeze is the way to go. They have over 1.5 dozen features on their motor alone that is not found on any other brand out there. And by the way, the Viterazzi 185 Moster, it's the most amount of problems. It's the most amount of things. I hope one day that motor will come along and they'll do some changes to it that'll make it more dependable, but to me it's just a throwaway motor. I haven't even rebuilt my motor, and it's 8 years old. And that's 8 years of heavy flying, not what the average guy flies. That's me doing tandems. That's me flying just about every day that it's nights outside. And I'm telling you what, I love it. I haven't had to switch brands. If I need parts, guess what? They're still in business. Do you know places that are down here in Florida? I think Aviator PPG has changed the brands that they sell 5 or 6 times. Look it up. Look it up. These guys are charging $4,500 for training, but now they've sold you equipment in the past. People have bought the other stuff that they were selling before. Those companies aren't even around anymore. You can't even get parts for them anymore. And if they were so great back then, why aren't they still great right now? You don't stay in business for 35 years like Fresh Breeze by putting out a crap product. And so that's what we're dealing with here, folks. I get a big laugh out of every video. I just saw another guy post a video, and he showed you his whole entire collection for $75,000 that he spent on all sorts of other brands. And yet he's still having problems. But you know what? He'll make the same video 6 months from now. He'll be flying another brand. Oh, I'm not getting any endorsements, he'll tell you. I just like it because it's better. Okay, well then if it's better, why weren't you flying it in the first place? I don't know. Anyways, that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. So I just wanted to make this video and tell you all about it. So thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on up in the air. Remember, our phone lines are open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. till midnight every day. Give us a call. We train unlimited free training for life. If you get your equipment here, you'll have the best equipment made from a company that's been around for 35 years, from an instructor that's been out there for 30 years in a history of aviation. I've got a world record number of students. I'm good at what I do. I know what I'm talking about. And you can find out the hard way if you want, or just give me a call. Let me tell you some of the other things that you just don't know. Subscribe to my channel and watch some of my other videos, because they're really going to explain the difference in the quality of the equipment, and you're going to find out why these other brands and other dealers didn't want you to find out about me. I'll tell you the truth. God bless you. Thanks for joining me.